Shots. This not a warning shot. 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 I'm sending all the shots. Send them, spinach, headshot, end them. Leave no witness. This not a warning shot. 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 I'm sending all the shots. Send them, spinning, headshot, end them. Leave no witness. I feel ecstatic, I'm popping off. Send me the Eddie, I drop a call. Niggas ain't gang, no, not at all. How about the foreign two double R's? I feel attention, I hug the Glock. They wanna say they and mug a lot. Fuck who you are, I run my block. Get to the brinks and I call the shots. I never lacking, 32 packing, right through the jacket. I let them have it, the OG jacket. I am a savage, blow out his brains and get to the menace. You know my body, I armored up. How about the brinks and the armor truck? How many niggas done war with us? How many niggas done lost to us? Check out the score, we on the board. Gang, 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 gang. This BGR, fuck who you are. Gang, 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 gang.
Yeah.
I'm in the hood, you heard of the bill. When niggas get raw, when niggas get killed, I call it the bloody to finish the drill. I finish my ops and put them in pills. This not a warning shot. 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 I'm sending all the shots. Send them, spinach, headshot, end them. Leave no witness. This not a warning shot. 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 I'm sending all the shots. Send them, spinning, headshot, end them. Leave no witness. You know the vibes, I'm in the track. Talking that white, I'm into that. You sending me shots, I send them back. You know the ops ain't spinning back. Fuck up a bag on the internet. All of my pieces, they hitting, yeah. I never lack when I'm in the jacks. I gotta keep me a heater, yeah. Head tap, on up. Fuck your armor. Black bag, bomber. Your dad, on up. You don't know that I heat him up. Put down the 30 and beat him up. Talking that game, you need him up. Fuck what you claim, I eat him up. Talking to town, gunning them down, how they surround. Gang, gang, gang. Mention my name, what do they say? Don't fuck around. Gang, gang, gang. I get a rush when the gun busts. Drum spinning like a nunchuck. Automatic, let them have it. I got a feeling your luck's up. This not a warning shot. 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 I'm sending all the shots. Send them, spinach, headshot, end them. Leave no witness. This not a warning shot. 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 I'm sending all the shots. Send them, spinning, headshot, end them. Leave no witness.
All that game I got from Cola, got it from my mama.
You know who you turn it up with. It's your boy Prophet Pete, and we here. Another edition.
Keep the quinces out and dripping out the fina. That's so customary, out the ordinary. Drink about the M and flipped it twice and made it necessary. I just keep it loose, I'm on it. So grip the eater, cause I say my life go. What they do? Giving you the tonic, I'm just being honest. You can take it to the bank and carry that. That's a promise, fuck a threat. Nigga, what a check, what a kilo at? Ha. I just need some commas where my people at. What a deal, show a couple mil. We can keep it talking, I'm a boss. Bitch, you been a boss, I'ma keep on bossing. Step out to get it right back. I'm not fucking with the new cause I like that. Run around with the crew, I'ma pick that lip with a quick hit sits and I hate that. With the pick and roll, let the cake be slow. Too much control, gotta lead the way. I'm a king with a squad full of checks and all my tricks on gold. All I know. They're my persona. All that game I got from Cola, got it from my mama. I got word from Barcelona out to Tijuana. That's only after drama. Holla about a comma, Catalina, my La Senorita, Strato with the Nina. Keep the quinces out, these dripping out the fina. That's so customary, out the ordinary. Drink about the M and flipped it twice and made it necessary. I just keep it loose, I'm on it. So grip the eater, cause I say my life go. What they do? Giving you the tonic, I'm just being honest. You can take it to the bank and carry that. That's a promise. Back to the basic with cola. Yeah. We running from G and Nola. Wow. Feeding the street with the perfect cream. I got the crown, what the fuck you mean? Keep up the weight with the everyone. That's run the block on my daddy's son. None to the test, so I hit your vein. I put the Nova in Novocaine. Black Bruce Wayne. Jet fuel octane. I'm on a very high echelon. I cut the cap out the Pentagon. They said the low is the alien. More I get touch to the president. Peso for peso with Mexican. I rode the boat with Colombian. I'm the one. in my persona. All that game I got from Cola, got it from my mama. I got word from Barcelona out to Tijuana. That's only after drama. All about the comma, Catalina, my La Senorita, strapped up with the Nina. Keep the quinces out, these dripping out the Fina. That's so customary, out the ordinary. Drink about the M and flipped it twice and made it necessary. I made it what? I just keep it loose. I'm a honest. So why you what? Grip the eater, cause I say my life go. What they do? Giving you the tonic, I'm just being honest. You can take it to the bank and carry that. That's a promise.
Yeah.
You are tuned in to Prophet Radio with your host, Prophet Pete.
Yo, what's going on, my people? You already know who it is. It's your boy, Prophet Pete, and you tune in to another edition of the Prophet Radio Show with your boy, the one and only. And you know, I'm here to talk my stuff, get at you, spit some knowledge, and introduce the world to some dope people, entertainers, entrepreneurs, people that are about their business, people that are changing lives in their communities and around the world. And we just got to do it, especially in these times. These times are very trying for many individuals. And as we can see when we turn on the news, a lot of times we see that no matter how much we're trying to be peaceful and trying to comply or even just trying to change the views of what others have on us in general, it does not seem to be moving in the right direction. What I do notice is that it gets very quiet, and the positivity and the things that we do outside in those streets, the peaceful protesting, the petitions that are being pushed out there and signed, and the lawyers, the lawsuits, the changing of our communities, the us policing ourselves in its own respect in our neighborhoods, and getting back to being a community. For every 10 steps that we attempt to take forward, it's like they're so afraid to see us elevate that they bring out the anger and the rage and the disappointment and the sorrow, which alters our abilities many times to move forward and cope. And as we do know, there was a police shooting, I want to say 2 days ago, where a young man was attempting to break up a fight between two women and end up getting shot in front of his children 7 times in the back while the officer held his shirt. Now, of course, the officer is going to say that he was in fear of his life. But if someone has their back to you, I don't know how fearful you can be because they're actually moving away. They're walking away from you. It was more, I think it was more of an ability to, or the lack of ability to control the situation the way he wanted, and decided he was going to take matters into his own hands while having his gun drawn. So it's sad, and I think that we turn on the news and we pay attention to these things and we see what's going on, and it's hard to say what to do next because everything that they tell us that we have been doing wrong, or maybe if we try this or go at it in a different way, there will be change. And it's going to take a lot more than just saying we're going to do something. We're going to have to take our streets back, take everything back the way that we need to, in a peaceful way. I'm not saying riot or do anything like that. I say that it is necessary to follow through and not let things fall wayside, because there are so many cases similar to these that in the news is there for a week and there's protests and we're screaming no justice, no peace. And we're not getting justice, but expected to still remain peaceful while being antagonized in a peaceful protest. We're being met with guns. We're being met with riot gear, tear gas, officers assaulting people. It's it's the craziest thing. And I think that blue wall of silence really has to be broken. And for those of you that are aware what that blue wall of silence is, you can either be in law enforcement, knew somebody that was in law enforcement, or heard about it in some news commentary. And it is very similar to the snitching rules of the street. You don't snitch, you don't say a thing. It doesn't matter if you saw it, what you saw, you don't talk about, and you just act like you didn't see a thing. You was there, but you wasn't there, kind of thing. Plead the fifth. So I want to say that with all the things that are going on in the world, we are also dealing with many of our own issues, trials, and tribulations, and bullies and individuals that have not really taken the time out to understand the individual or feel that they come from this land of privilege, the land of being untouched. And I'm here to say this: everyone can be touched. You're no different from myself or the other individuals that you are actually antagonizing, stressing, or attempting to push out of where they are. I can tell you one thing: what you're not prepared for is the pushback. The pushback is real. And if you ever taken the time out to rationalize what you're doing and what you do to individuals, threatening their lives, threatening their livelihoods, threatening their ability to take care of their families or even take care of themselves, it's like backing a dog into a corner. And the repercussions and the actions of that dog that you back into that corner will be unexpected. You do not know when that dog will lash out, when that dog will actually retaliate, or not even retaliate, but actually defend themselves. We sit there and we listen to the excuses that are made by individuals that make the news for taking someone's life. And it's, oh, I was in fear of my life. I felt that I was in danger. But what happens to the individual that you're threatening? What happens? You have a gun drawn, you holding their paycheck, that that job or whatever it may be, their freedom over their head, and at the same time attempt to dehumanize them while you sit there and you play this game. And the places where I grew up in, the people that I knew, there was always this saying, the streets play for keeps. And there's a lot of things that you can't control. And just because you think you're above certain things, there is always that point in time that karma will visit you and repay you for all the things that you do. And I do believe in a higher power. And I believe that you will pay for everything that you dished out to individuals. It might not be in that individual's lifetime, but sure enough, you will. And if you don't believe in a heaven and hell, just believe that karma's a bitch. So, getting into some things, we got a special guest in the building today by the name of Faith Walker, a student of the game, has been in the industry for a good amount of time and has won awards for her music. And I want to bring her in so we can chop it up because I believe she has a story to tell. And when I say there's a story to tell, she definitely has a story to tell. So without further ado, we got Faith Walker in the building, y'all. Good evening. I'm not too sure if you can hear me. I think you can.
And I can hear you. Hi. I'm
Hi.
so sorry. I had technical difficulties. The laptop wouldn't work. I had to use my phone. Then I had to do an update. I'm like, I'm
But
here though.
I definitely know how that is. I am no stranger to technical difficulties.
Exactly. I know. I'm
And
here.
and trying to switch it up, and now with everything changing in the world and more people doing it, there seems to be more technical difficulties than ever.
I
But
agree.
it's like I don't think all this technology was prepared for the vast influx of individuals.
Yeah, you could be right about that for sure.
You know, if you got just 1 million, 2 million people using a platform, then you got 10 million using a platform. Things change real quick.
That's true. Definitely.
So introduce yourself for the people.
All right. I'm Faith Walker. I'm a singer-songwriter just outside of Toronto, Canada. I've been doing my thing for many years. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So when you say outside, just outside of Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, I'm about an hour west of Toronto. So it's like the closest major city where a lot of things happen as far as, going to the studio and performances and stuff like that, shooting videos. Usually you have to go to the city to do things like that. So yeah.
So
I'm not far outside of Toronto, but nobody would know my town.
so you just give something that's relatable, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you're still
exactly.
in Canada.
I am, yes.
Yes. So how is Canada, by the way?
Well, it's definitely changed. COVID has caused a lot of difficulties for everybody around the world, but we have a lot of things being enforced right now where you can't go inside any business without a mask. So anytime you're indoors, period, you have a mask. But it's kind of weird because you'll like go out to dinner. They have like some restaurants open and you'll have to wear your mask, but as soon as you're seated, you can take it off. So it's kind of strange. I don't know how it's going to work with, movie theaters and stuff like that. And the school, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, we definitely, have felt it like you have over there, I'm sure. So yeah, and it's put a lot of things on hold for a lot of people, especially the music industry, because we're not able to do shows or anything like that.
Yeah, I think the entertainment industry definitely has been affected because it's such a change, a huge change.
Definitely.
And it's like, how do you perform? How do you get your music out there? But I say with every negative, there's a positive, and it causes
sure.
you to adapt and how to get your music out in ways that you probably wouldn't have done before.
For sure. And everything, I believe everything happens for a reason. And, the timing, my album's been pushed back a little bit, but maybe it was meant to come out when it's coming out. So, can't complain about that. And we adapt. So, I haven't done any virtual concerts or anything like that, but I know a lot of artists are doing that. So thinking about when my album drops, just doing like a virtual listening party and perform a couple songs. But yeah, I haven't performed since January. So it's been a minute.
Yeah, we're going on almost 9 months? It'll be 9 months in like a couple of weeks.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I sang at a wedding, my friend's wedding, but other than that, no performances, I guess in 9 months. It's a long time.
Yeah. Well, I've actually was invited to a virtual listening party, and it was pretty cool. I would say I was like intrigued in the creativity of the way it was put together, and I'm like, wow.
That's cool. Yeah, we definitely have to, adapt and find new ways to get our music out there. So, yeah, I'm hoping to do that as well.
Yeah. So, as a singer and songwriter, which one do you prefer more out of the two?
It's really hard to say. It's hard to choose between.
They kind of go together, but
in hand for sure. I guess more recently, I've thought about it, I guess, because a lot of my health issues that I've had over the past year, I was actually at one point not able to sing because I had so many issues with my lungs. I could never catch my breath. So just, I never thought that I would lose that ability. So losing that made a big impact on me. And, you know, just the fact that I can sing again has been huge and so important. So I definitely think that's up there. But then also with the songwriting, it's like a real passion because, you know, you're getting your thoughts and emotions out. And over the years, I've written a lot of songs about like relationships and ups and downs. But, you know, even more recently with my health issues, I've written a lot of songs about struggle and, you know, songs that have inspired a lot of people. So for me, that's given me almost like a whole new purpose.
Mm. And, you know, they say you find your new self in the struggle. You tend to find a new you, and you grow in ways that you didn't ever think were possible.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So with your music, when you started, how long have you actually been singing and songwriting?
You're going to date me right now. But since I was 14 and I'm coming up on 42, so a whole lot of years, over 25 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was 14 is when I started writing my own music and recording in the studio with a little group that I had. And then, you know, I went solo and just ever since then.
Mm. Now, being 14, what was it that really just intrigued you enough to say, hey, this is what I want to do?
I think that I always knew that I wanted to be a singer, but I guess the songwriting came into play when I wasn't really one to sing other people's songs. So I guess it was just like out of necessity. I was just like, okay, I need to write my own songs. And when I started out with the group, we were writing our own songs. So, you know, I guess I realized the power in that. Although, you know, at that time I was writing about, you know, topics that made sense to me, but it was, you know, songs like chilling with the girls and, you know,
Oh.
stuff like that. So, you know, I wasn't writing about love. I didn't know anything about love, maybe a couple crushes, but yeah, I guess I realized the power in being able to write your own music.
Hmm. Now, was it therapeutic for you at times, or has it been therapeutic for you to write your own music?
Yeah, it definitely has. I think when I'm going through something, I'm kind of like in fight or flight mode. I don't tend to write too much when I'm actually going through it. It's usually more like when I come out the other side. And I think it just helps me process, you know, everything that's happened and be able to look at it with kind of like a clear, a clear view. Because I think I feel I think maybe put pressure on myself to write when I'm actually going through it, but for some reason it just doesn't come as natural to me. So I try not to force it. So I think maybe that's what helps me keep my music kind of positive because, you know, I do go through the tough times, but then on the other side is when I start, you know, writing and talking about it.
Mm. That that would make some great sense
Yeah.
because you write when you're going through some things. You might write some stuff down that'll be like later on we listen to you like, ooh, I should have never said that. You know.
True. You know, it's important, I think, to be authentic and you know, really show the tougher things that you go through. I've kind of learned that over time because there's a lot of pressure to show all the good things and positivity, especially on social media. And I guess I started feeling like I wanted to. It was actually another artist that mentioned to me, you know, it'd be really nice if we could see like some of your struggle, like some of what you actually go through day to day. You know, I've been battling cancer since I was 26. So I've always shown like the positive side of it and, you know, being strong and getting through it and being that warrior. But, you know, another artist I know said, you know, like, I really think it would be nice if you showed that side. So I started a vlog that has been kind of therapeutic for me for sure. And I find it a really good outlet when it comes to telling my story. And even just for me, like sometimes so much happens that it's a blur. So I can look back and say, okay, this is what happened. And then this happened. Because it's almost like you forget when there's so much going on. So I'm really happy with, starting that process, which I started, I think, the beginning of this year as well.
Well, I'm definitely glad to see that you're a fighter and you are here. And
Thank you.
and getting the opportunity to interview you is like just so amazing to have someone that is so strong and utilizes their gift and continues to move forward.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate, anytime I can share my story and my music, it's like so greatly appreciated because you never know who it's going to touch. And if it helps even just one person, then I've done my job for the day.
Yes. I think that's kind of why I got into radio, because it was like gotta kind of touch people. It's a way because you never know that one word can talk somebody off of the ledge or
Yeah,
get them refocused or whatever it is. And I believe that music is very powerful,
definitely.
super powerful, and it can change your mood. It can take you from happy to angry to sad, all in just a couple of minutes of pressing play.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. For me personally, I've turned to music when I go through things. So I know, how helpful and therapeutic it can be and how it can just change my mood so quickly. So, it's nice to know that I can do that for other people too.
Yeah. Seems like you have a very large heart.
Thank you. I think so.
Yeah. And now I want to talk a little bit more about your journey through your music career. Like there's some things that have happened, some acknowledgments that you have gotten over the years. You want to talk about those?
Yeah, sure. Over the years, I've, had some music on radio out here and, videos out on Much Vibe, and Much Music, which is like our MTV. And so a few of my songs have been on, countdowns or lists for like the best songs of the year type of thing. So that was really meaningful to be on a list with, other artists that I really respected and my name's right there. That was huge. Also, I've won a couple Peebo Awards, which are awards. Now, it's been a while. I don't even remember if I can remember what letter stands for. But it's basically, everything from like athletes to business owners to singers, performers. It's a show that goes on each year, and they give out awards. I've performed there once, and then I won 2 awards. So that was great to have that recognition, as well as I was nominated for, like, we have Oktoberfest out here,
Mhm.
which some people might have heard of, but I was nominated for the Woman of the Year in Arts and Culture category. So I got, some recognition for that, and got a little certificate from a politician out here. So yeah, it was definitely something that I could be proud of. But for me, I think that the moments and the things that I'm even more proud of are, things that I feel have really made an impact. So, working with a lot of nonprofit organizations, cancer organizations, everything that I can get involved in that, is going to do something positive. I definitely like to do that. And then those are the things that I think I'm most proud of.
Again, see the big heart. See it shine through again.
I
Right?
know.
It-
It could be a blessing and a curse, but yeah, definitely.
and it's good to actually, focus on those things that, make you feel whole.
Yeah.
And though the awards and everything are great, the recognition is great, but it's making that impact, as you said earlier, through your music, being able to reach individuals the way that you can by devoting your time to nonprofits and doing certain things with organizations is it's more of who you are.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's become really important more and more important over the years. So with COVID, unfortunately, I can't do a lot of those things. A lot of those, the events are not going on. I work with an organization in town that's a cancer support center where I call myself a wigologist, but I help women going through breast cancer pick out a wig. And so I do the fittings for that. And I really miss doing stuff like that. But with COVID, that's all been put on hold.
Yeah. Well, I say COVID, go the hell away.
I agree.
It needs to go somewhere. I think it's been around way too long.
Definitely. I hear people saying like, oh, it's going to be a couple more years before we're back to anything even close to normal. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Like, can you just go? Yeah.
And with the whole situation in itself, I find it to be weird. Like you said, going into restaurants, when you walk indoors, you got to wear the mask, but then it's okay to take it off, after you get in there. And then when you listen to what the experts say, you're not supposed to touch the mask at all after you put it on. So now you took it off, you put it back on, it's contaminated. What, like, I don't even
Never even thought about that. I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I kind of, when I'm in those situations, I'm kind of looking around like, is this safe? But I don't know. I don't know what the logic in it. There's a lot of really confusing messages out there. And yeah, so sometimes I just can't find the logic in it, but we just follow the rules and hope that it's going to change soon.
So being from Canada, how is the music scene different from here? Is it any different?
I think it is. I think, I was born in LA, but raised here, like since I was a baby. So I always found like anytime I would go, to Detroit to visit family, like you turn on the radio and it's like, there's just that soul, like that real soul music. And a lot of times, especially back then, you didn't really hear that. And then over the years, there have been some urban stations that, have come on the scene with commercial radio, and they, that's changed a lot too, because when that first started, you would know the music director or program director, and then it'd be a friend of a friend, and then you'd pass them your music. And if they've played you before, then they put it in rotation. But now it's become harder, I think, because there's so many artists out there, and it's become so easy to record music. You don't have to have this huge budget. People are recording on their phones and like in their basements. So, we're being flooded by a lot of music that they have to kind of pick through. So for me, even just trying to get like commercial radio in the city I live in to play my stuff has been a battle. Like, they're like, well, we got so much music right now, and they're kind of just not being as supportive as I would like. But we really depend on, the independent stations, and the college radio is really big. And I think people are starting to pay more attention to it because, when you're listening to commercial radio, you're hearing the same songs here. I don't know about there, but here, the same songs and the same artists over and over and over again. And it's like, okay, there's so many other people that have so much talent that you could be playing, and yet you're playing, I'm not going to name names, but you're playing the same songs like 10 times in one day, the same artist 10 times in one day. What about all the other artists, But it's really, it's politics, right? So yeah. I get that. I definitely get that. But I work with allthewaylivehiphop.com. We do Faithful Fridays. So on Friday, I interview another artist and kind of try to shine a spotlight on the independent artists that, are doing their own thing, writing their own music. And that's become really important to me too. So I choose a lot of the music for the station as well. It's 24-hour radio. And that's been great for me to do the spotlight every week. Just because, like I said, there's so many artists that deserve the recognition. So that's another thing that's become really important to me.
Yeah, well, here definitely we have about, on mainstream radio, the same 5 songs all day. Like just 5 songs. It doesn't go past 5. So maybe 20 minutes worth of music, and then we're right back to the same song. And you kind of set your watch to it. And
Yeah.
crazy. And you can go from station to station and they're playing the same songs as well. You're like,
Yeah.
I just changed the dial. What happened? And it's
I
like,
know. That happens here too, for
it
sure.
is crazy, but it is politics and it does have to do with money and
Hmm.
budgets and everything else. And I think that independent artists really do need a larger spotlight shine on them
Hmm.
because that some of the music that I hear from these independent artists, I'm like, oh my goodness,
I
where
know.
have you been? Where's the
Hmm.
rest of your music? Like I need to hear it. And
Definitely.
a lot of the mainstream stuff sounds the same over and over and over again. You don't even know what you're listening to. And we come from the same era, right? We
Yeah.
started off around the same time, right?
Hmm.
So I know what it was to have different a variety of music and
Right.
stations being played different things, and now it's not that anymore. And I think that the majors are afraid of what the independent artists are actually doing because they can't control it.
Definitely. Definitely. They say it's an independence market. So um I think we're taking over.
Yeah, I think, and right now it's like, what do you need a major for? You don't need a major label for what?
You really can do it all yourself. It's nice to have a solid team backing you up. I've been lucky enough to have my business manager, shout out to Righteous, and also, having a publicist, shout out to MJ who set up this interview. Um, you know, and people that my go-to person for videos, and that's really important. But I think, yeah, you can outsource and delegate certain things that you need done, and it's just about educating yourself and finding the right people that are going to support you. And I think with that, you can pretty much do anything.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. It's just so much the right people around you. And I just told someone this today. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You can't
That
know everything. You need people in there that know more than you in certain areas. You don't got to be educated and vast in everything. And
Definitely. It's like, with anything in life, I think we need to stay open, and we need to realize that we can always learn something, like never feel like you know everything. There's always something to learn from somebody. So that's really important, just I definitely encourage other artists to do that, just to stay open and keep learning. Like for me, I'm taking a creative writing course, which I've wanted to do forever. I'm just doing that now since I'm at home. It's an online, you know, um, like a Zoom type of thing. So even just that, just trying to build on my craft and um, learn new things. So it's been great to have those opportunities.
yes, so I want to get into your latest track, which I'm trying to pull it up here. And is it here? Yes, I got it. Oh,
Oh,
I did.
good.
I did something right. But I actually want to play the video for everybody.
Oh,
So
that'd be.
yeah. So would you like to introduce yourself and introduce yourself again and introduce this track for the people?
Yeah, this is Faith Walker, and this is the video for the Head in the Clouds remix featuring Ray Robinson. Definitely my proudest accomplishment, and I think it can definitely inspire anybody. So check it out.
No matter what you go through in life, you gotta keep your head up. Keep it up so high, it's in the sky. Got to keep your head in the clouds.
Got to keep your head up.
It's getting heavy, the world is on my shoulders. Trying to fight to stand up strong. Feels like I'm drowning on waves, keep getting higher. Trying to hold on for
No, not on your own. Oh, no. Somehow you gon' find a way out now. Not in this alone. Try to keep your head in the ground. Yeah. Into the sky. Come on, my people.
All right.
All right.
Now, I don't know if it was slowing down and speeding up on your side, but on my end, it was kind of doing some weird things. But I definitely encourage everybody to check out the video on YouTube, and you might not have those issues with it.
Oh yeah, it was okay on this end, but hey, you never know. See,
Could just be I don't know about technology. It could just be at my end, but it was kind of like lagging, and then it would go faster than it's supposed to go. So yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. And yeah, hey, look, the signal's coming from New York all the way to Canada. Hey,
Exactly.
So it's one of those things. I say it's a blessing that we're able to do this, to actually connect,
Definitely.
being so far away. So
For sure.
that song to me had a very powerful message. And it was, regardless of what you're going through or what you've been through, never give up. Like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep going, keep pushing.
Exactly.
And there was a lot of to me, I felt the energy and the soul that was put into that song.
Yeah, I was working on my EP, and for some reason I've always had like kind of a obsession with clouds, and for some reason the title Head in the Clouds just kind of came to me. And when I got the beat that I picked out, it was called Struggle, and I was like, okay, this is perfect. So I'm like, this is gonna be the title of my EP, and I started working on it right away. And very soon after the song was recorded, I had this vision. A lot of times when I do videos, I let the director take the lead. But the director Manolo, he really allowed me to like come across with what my vision was. So I definitely saw like people holding signs, and everybody in that video, they're actually my friends and family members who have been through something, really, really tough, face some adversity, and then come out with a blessing on the other side. So right away I started kind of thinking, okay, I want this person, because I know those stories. And people have asked me like, oh, did you do casting, or how did you find these people? And I'm like, no, these are people that are actually in my life. And I know the video goes kind of fast, so it's hard to catch all the stories. It's kind of a video that you have to sometimes watch a couple times to get all the stories. But everything from domestic violence to illness to losing a child to being falsely imprisoned for murder, like just some crazy stories. So it's just, I think, a really good reminder, like you said, to just keep going no matter what you're going through, and that you're not alone. Because I think everybody can find at least one of those stories in the video that they can really relate to.
Yeah. And and relating doesn't necessarily mean that you went through it, but you know someone that might have been through it or is currently going through it.
Right. Exactly.
Because so many people hide their stories, and although they may not tell you, you can pick up on signs, and you know it's easier to relate when you see common things or common stories around you.
Definitely. Yeah, I think, we do as humans often try to, keep those really vulnerable situations to ourselves. But I think that I almost feel like we have a duty, like when we're going through it ourselves, it's really our story. But then to share that story, like you have no clue how many people you can inspire by doing that. So, it's going to help you personally and it's going to help others. And so I've received so many messages since that video came out, just from especially a lot of women going through breast cancer. And, they say, okay, this is what I needed right in this moment, or today I needed to hear this. I needed to see this. So that definitely encourages me to keep going.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you're able to reach all the individuals that you were able to reach around the world.
Definitely. Me too.
So before we get out of here, anything you want to tell the people before we go? Well, first you got to give them your social media. So
Yeah.
hopefully you remember all of them.
Well, it's kind of across the board, Faith Walker Music. So my biggest platform is Instagram. So at Faith Walker Music. I also have a Facebook page and Twitter. If you just search Faith Walker Music, you'll find me. And definitely, Instagram is where I stay really up to date. I post all my interviews, my performances when I'm going to start having them again, and everything that's upcoming. I want to mention that I just shot a video for another one of my songs called Ain't Easy. So getting ready to drop that in a few weeks with my album. So I'm really excited about that. So look out for that video. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody that supports my music very much appreciated. And you as well, for taking the time to share my music and my story. I truly appreciate it.
Yes. That's what I'm here for. Right. I feel that I'm just like the channel, right?
Exactly.
Get it out there. That's what I do. And I enjoy helping and meeting individuals such as yourself.
Well, much respect to you.
Thank you very much. So, social media, Faith Walker Music, amongst all platforms. Look forward to the album release in a few weeks.
Yeah, so I'm still picking a date. It will be in September. Just tying up all the loose ends. And I should mention also my music, my EP, Head in the Clouds, is still available on all platforms, from like all digital platforms, from iTunes to Spotify. So check out, if you like what you heard, check out the rest of my music.
Yes, they should. All of you guys, everyone.
You
right?
tell them.
That's it. Make sure you listen, make sure you tune in, stream it, and all that wonderful stuff. And if you missed this interview or you only caught parts of it, because we are live, you can find it on YouTube, you can find it on Facebook, and someplace else. I'll figure that out. But it's everywhere, just about every social media platform, and definitely on YouTube to replay it, because it was a positive interview, positive message with a positive individual that has been around and wanted to share her story, which is awesome.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm definitely gonna watch it back on YouTube as well, and post it for my followers. So I definitely appreciate it. I'm glad it's available for people that missed it.
Yes, it's always going to be available. So I want to thank you again for being on the show, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Stay
You
well,
too.
and keep on making great music.
Thank you. Very much appreciated. Keep doing your thing. Keep shining light on the talent, and interviewing people, and really showcasing talent, because it's really important. Definitely an important job.
Yes, it is. And before we go, right?
Yeah.
How can they see your interviews that you have once a week?
So the interviews vary from like any anytime. Sometimes it's like several weeks, sometimes it's once a week, but on my Instagram, I have all the different like flyers and promotion and links. So if you click on any of them, it should say, you know, how to go about listening back to it. So yeah, there's quite a few on there if you want to check them out. And I have one of my highlights on my page is interviews. So there are some clips on there too.
Okay, wonderful. So that means make sure you go to Faith Walker Music on Instagram. You will be updated with all the great stuff that is going on in Canada and across the world.
Worldwide.
That's it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a great evening.
You too. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Yeah, so you already know who it is. It's your boy Prophet Pete from the city that never sleeps. And I'm tired of all this negativity going around, and we got to keep it around town the way we need to keep it. So I'm going to get into this next joint, right? And it's called In Circles. And when we come back, we got Mr. Champion, an executive producer making all types of moves in the industry, owner of S7 Productions. Make sure you tune in.